Mose Fuller. I'm the pastor of the St. Timothy Baptist Church located at 3701 North Titonia Avenue in the great city of Milwaukee. This is Money Talk. I am sitting in for Attorney Cora Pledge. She won't be here today, but I will be here, and we will be talking about the importance of Black-owned banks. The importance of Black-owned banks. In the city of Milwaukee, as you know, listeners, we have one Black-owned bank in the entire city and state. One Black-owned bank in the state of Wisconsin and in the city of Milwaukee, only one. And that bank has been around for 100 years. Now, I can imagine the difficulty of starting a Black-owned bank back in 1924, when the Halyards came here in 1923. They ran into a situation where they realized that Black people that were living in the city of Milwaukee back in the 20s, in the 1920s, they did not have access to capital. Now, listeners, you know, when we don't have access to capital, there are certain big item things that we can't buy, like car, homes, which is very important. And so they immediately decided, a year later, they came here in 1923, and Wilbur and Audie Halyards came here in 1923, and they looked at the situation, they surveyed the situation, and they saw that Black folks didn't have access to capital. And they had the vision and the initiative to do something about that. And so they started Columbia Savings and Loan Association. And that association, Columbia Savings and Loan Association, now bank, Columbia Savings and Loan Bank, has been around for 100 years. Now, I'm one of the board of directors on the bank, and I can tell you right now, from my experience with the bank, my experience with Columbia Savings and Loan since 1995. That's a long time I've been associated with Columbia Savings and Loan. And most of the accounts that our church have, St. Timothy Community Baptist Church, is with that bank. Now, the reason that is the case, and back in 1995, when we was buying our building, the only bank that would take a chance on us, since we had been in existence only since from 1993, and we was in a position to buy our building in 1995, the only bank that would take a chance on a 2-year-old church was Columbia Savings and Loan. So the president at that time was Mr. George Gary. And Mr. Gary decided to take a chance on us, and we made sure that we paid every note that we owed on that bank on time, and we got it paid off. Every note that we owed on our church, and we got it paid off. And so this is why I feel, because of my relationship with Columbia Savings and Loan, listeners, and I know that bank is an asset to this community. Since I've been affiliated with it before I got on the board of Columbia Savings and Loan as a director, and now that I'm a director, I can look more inside and see how the bank really operates and how things operate with financial institutions. I know that, first of all, we need more than one Black bank in the city of Milwaukee. At one time in the city of Milwaukee, we had more than one Black bank. We had more than one Black bank. Yeah, it was North Milwaukee State Bank, and then they had Legacy Bank, and so it was at least 3. So now we only have one, and that is a problem, the way I look at it, listeners, and you know that too. That is a problem. A city the size of Milwaukee, with that basically this city now, with Black and Hispanic, we are with Black and Hispanic, we are the majority. We got enough black folks in this community to have more than one black bank. So one of the things we talked about last week is this how we spend our money and who we spend our money with. We spend our money with a lot of folks that don't care anything about us. Don't care anything about our neighborhoods. They don't care anything about our economics. They don't care anything about our community. They don't care anything about our kids. Don't care anything about us. They don't care anything about our children, our grandchildren. They don't care anything about the cultural development and quality in the community. So then I feel that God has put us in a place right now where we have, and he has put us in a place right now where we're going to have to become very proactive in terms of how we spend our money in how we do business with other people. How we do business with other people. The administration that they have now, from what I see and from my perspective, really have no concerns about things that are happening in certain communities. So we're going to have to be proactive. We're going to have to do better with our money. I think we have to, self-included, save more, be better with our money, what we do with it, and where we put it and how we spend it. One of the big things going on now is that you probably heard about it on news like I have, is DEI, and that has a lot to do with your work and your money and your everything. And DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so what this administration said, they're gonna get rid of all of that. They're gonna scrap it. They're going to scrap it. And so they're going to be looking for, raise ain't going to have anything to do with the hiring, to do with the banking, or wherever you bank at, or wherever you go to school at, or wherever you go, it won't have anything to do with it. It's going to be merit-based, period. One of the things that I know, listeners, is that I was looking at, when Roots came out, and I was watching the series. I've been watching the Roots, the Next Generation. And if anyone can say in this country in 2025 that race don't make a difference, I don't see how they can really say that with a straight face. And I'm 73 years old, and I've been around long enough to know that if you don't come to grips with the race factor in this country as it relates to your banking, as it relates to your finances, and everything else, as it relates to your finances and everything else, you're just going to be confused. You're going to be confused about issues. You're going to be confused about issues. Amen? You're going to be confused about issues. Amen? And that's what's happening right now. You're going to be confused about issues if you don't think that race makes a difference with your money. Matter of fact, that was the reason why they started Columbia Savings and Loan, because of the racial disparities and discrimination in the city of Milwaukee. These two brave individuals that started Columbia Savings and Loan understood the significance of race in finance and everything else. Wilbur Halyard and Arnie Clark Halyard understood that very well. And they immediately decided to do something about it. And I think that that's what we're going to have to do as we move. And even in 2025, we're going to have to decide what we're going to do. I mean, if we're going to stand together and support ourselves and support our own economic initiatives, or are we going to depend on someone else to try to carry the load for us? They're not going to carry it. I can tell you that right now. I've been around long enough to know that. They're not going to carry us. Amen. So also, I told you earlier, I had a guest coming in, my good friend. He just came in. So he's going to be getting in and be taking part in this in the conversation also, Pastor Greg Lewis. He is the president. Pastor Lewis is the president of Pastors United and executive director, Sold to the Polls, and they're doing so much other stuff. I ain't got time to go down the list. But but the guy is really doing a great job and doing a great work in this community as it relates to really impacting people, adding value to people, amen, helping people get into their homes. Owning a home is an important thing. And that's one of the things that the Hilliards understood, Wilbur and Artie. That is one of the things that they understood when they started, Pastor Lewis, Columbia Savings and Loan back in 1923. So our topics today, Pastor, is the importance of Black-owned banks. That's really, you would say that is important, would you?
Yeah, because you can't have a community without banks, water, and hospitals. I mean, that's just the bottom line. You can have a neighborhood, and we could use other people's things like we do. But if you really want to have your own, you got to have banks.
You got to have that.
Got to have a source of water.
You got to have that.
And we certainly, have to pool our resources. I mean, it's just vital that we do that, because I was thinking about that statistic that you had last week about we'd be like the 13th largest country in the world if we
would use our money if that money
if we were a nation of people.
Yeah, we was a nation.
Yeah, we'd be the 13th with the spending power that we have.
$1.9 trillion projected in 2025.
See, but what we don't get together and pool our resources for power. Because we got to ask for something too. We got to make people do things for us. You just can't you can't expect people just to give you anything. Huh? No, that's not going to happen. You got to make it happen.
We have a call. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, and thank you for taking my call. This is my thing that I want to present to the community. This is something that's very simple. All you have to do is get your money in your pocket, go to Columbia Savings and Loan, and make a deposit. Be a depositor. Let's show them better than we can tell them that we know how to work together. Come with $500, $500,000, and let's make a statement that they'll never forget. We can do this. And there's people in our community that can make that difference. It's time for us to do something. And this thing with this EDI, come on. When you have a company with 2,000 employees and only 125 are of another ethnic group, don't tell me everybody there is intelligent, okay? It was a whole bunch of black folks that walked over and they let somebody in like they letting them in Trump's administration. So if he think he got the best and the brightest, he's about one of the dumbest things I ever seen. And I want to tell you the next thing. If you watch that interview this morning, what a joke.
Yeah.
Before the guys could even speak good, they had to kiss his butt before they could speak.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you something. I wouldn't work for someone that I couldn't use my brain. I have to check it at the door before I go in. I'm sorry, community. Let's get together and let's make that difference. Let's show them better than we can tell them. Have a great day.
Thanks, caller. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, caller.
We know that. We appreciate that. Once again, listeners,
that was Fuller's cousin.
Once again, listeners, I'm Pastor Mose, Fuller St. Timothy Baptist Church. This is Money Talk. I'm sitting in for Attorney Cora Players, and we're talking about the importance of Black-owned banks in our community. You're right, Pastor Lewis. Having a bank, if you just go a few blocks, just east of here in Glendale, and start right on Port Washington and Silver Spring. Man, before you go 3 or 4 blocks east, I bet you got close to almost 10 banks.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they got a community.
Really? And this is, man, you look at that, you have to look at the economics of that. Why do you need, I'm thinking to myself, I tell my wife, we riding over that area, I say, why in the world you need all these banks here? You got a bank on this, you got 2 banks on this corner, one on the other corner. Go down in the next block, you got the same thing. Go in the next block, you got the same thing. And here, we're sitting here on 20th and Capitol, the closest bank that you might run into. They used to have one long time ago when I first came here. And when I first came to this area in the 70s, they had a bank right across the street where that Walgreens is. They used to have a bank right there.
That's U.S.
Yeah. I think they used to have a bank there. I don't know what it was. I forget the name of it, but it was a bank there.
Yeah.
And then usually they have the food store right over here.
There was a couple different things.
Yeah. They had, cleaners there and a bank there that, and they
First
had
Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's what it was. First Wisconsin.
Then it became First Star.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
US Bank.
That's right.
U.S. Bank.
Yeah. And then now you got to go all the way down to 50th and Capitol, and then you got to go East Capitol before you run into a bank. And Columbia Savings and Loan is the only bank in the inner city where all these people are. The next closest thing you have to Columbia Savings and Loan is Brewery Credit Union, and that's almost downtown. And so then we do have a problem, but the problem is that we don't have to have that problem if we did right by our money.
Yeah, because we can't get loans.
Yeah,
houses.
That's why the houses. That's why they started.
That's why you need all them banks.
And
it's big too, and it ain't changed much, man. I mean,
haven't changed.
You could talk all you want about what's been going on, but
that hasn't changed.
You got to believe your lying eyes. You got to believe what you see. You go into a bank, man. You got to jump through loops.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah, man.
You got to do all of that.
Yeah, you got to jump through loops to get a loan in this town, man. If you black,
you sure do.
And it's crazy, and it's systemic.
It's systemic. We have a break. Okay, break time. Once again, listeners, I'm Pastor Mose Fuller of St. Timothy Baptist Church. I'm sitting in for Attorney Core Players, and this is Money Talks. And Pastor Greg Lewis and I, we're talking about the importance of Black-owned banks in the community. Pastor Lewis, you said something that was very important, that very significant, is that you have a community. I think that's where you put it. When you really have financial institutions,
you got to have
to serve the people.
Yeah, resources.
And the Halyards understood back in 1923, and they had a lot of vision too, man. Understood that Milwaukee, very, very hyper segregated city community, and it's still that way. It ain't changed a lot, man. It's still that way. If you look at all the big cities across this country, Milwaukee is either the first, it's in the top 3, the top 5. Might be, I think it's probably number 2 or something like that.
And Milwaukee a tough town too,
tough,
man.
Right, for black folks. It really is.
It really is.
Financially, and all that stuff.
Because the racism is so subliminal. It's kind of like you don't really see it. It's so sophisticated, but it's there because of the results you get. We last in almost everything. So we ought to be sticking together. Man, if we ever got our minds right and started to work together, man, we would be so significant, man. But we still trying to lean back on the old fight, lean back on what used to be. Man, it's a new day now. We got brain power and we got young people.
Money power.
Man, brain power, and we got young people who are brilliant, and the older folks who are wise, could be really substantially efficient working with these young folks, working together, man. We could really have a good thing here in Milwaukee because, we've been taught well about how hard you have to work to get what you need here. Because I remember when I was going to school, man, I went to Samuel Morris. It was the school for gifted and talented. I told my mother, I said, man, I don't want to go here. They don't care about me. She said, well, you going,
And you didn't want to go, but she said you're going.
She said, they all think they're better than me. And then, she told me, she said, but you got to be 10 times better. That's what she said. You got to, if you want some results, you got to be 10 times better. That's what she told me when I was like 12 years old,
you didn't understand that one, did you?
Yeah, well, I kind of did, but I said, that ain't fair.
No,
I got to be 10 times better. But that's what she told me. She sent me, but that's how it is now. And it's not like we've grown to the point where we could be treated equal, Pastor.
Right.
So we need to be congregating in a way that we can build ourselves, man. That we can have this brain power, this thinking power that we use to grow ourselves, instead of being out here with the nonsense that we got out here right now. And then listening to them tell us what we need to learn and how we need to be educated. We need to be educating ourselves. There's no way I should have to go to a school that don't teach Black history at all.
That's exactly
As a matter of fact, it's against the law. What kind of nonsense is that, man? That's just crazy. People, wake up. What's wrong with you? Yeah. Stop letting things happen to you. I be telling him, I say, hey, man, you know the road runner. You remember the road runner, right? Yeah, he said, meep, and then he be gone. Man, we just, they be dropping the ammo on our head. We just stand there. I'm like, hey, man, you better run. Get out the way.
And get hit in the head.
They say that is the first defense in martial arts. That's what they say is to run. They say that's your first defense.
Get out of the way. And if you can't win, you got to fight. Right?
Then you got to fight. So we got to fight, man.
You got to fight.
First of all, we got to run. You can't keep letting people just hit you upside the head with these anchors, man. I'll be like, hey, man, look out. Look out. Yeah.
Wrap you upside the head again.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for him. No, I'm just saying, don't get there and get hit in the head with an anchor, man. And that's what happened now. So I've been talking about, and when we first started Pastor United, I was going around to all the pastors. I said, hey, man, we ought to put all our money over here in Columbia. But people had already had relationships with other banks, and they didn't want to make those moves. So just think, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they take all the money that we collect in our community,
money in Black churches,
and then they go into these institutions that don't really care about us,
and
man.
Won't give them a loan.
And not only that, it leaves town.
Yeah, it leaves town. That's the turtle. And that is so
let
important.
alone community.
Right. See, that's as a pastor, I know that that's the case. I've been pastoring long enough in this community to know that these other institutions where black folks, and I know some pastors, they got the money in blank.
Man, I'm going to Columbia and pay my mortgage when I leave here.
That got that money in these other institutions.
And you know why I got my mortgage there, Pastor?
Why is that, Doc?
You don't know?
Because
I wanted to support the bank.
Bank. Yeah.
My wife.
That's why I got mine.
My wife didn't totally agree with me doing that, Pastor. I'm telling you. I said, no, we're going to support this bank. And, it was, kind of rough fooling with banks. I don't care where you are, but, you do what you got to do when you go anywhere else. So we did what we had to do when we was with Columbia.
Right.
And, and then Columbia, they helped us with our houses, man. Our housing. Man, I used to have to borrow money.
So how many houses have you guys as pastors united?
Man, it's about 60 something now. I can't even,
And I remember when we started doing those houses is that, we were basically doing them from scratch. No money, doing them basically on sheer determination.
And Mayor Barrett, he really helped us out, man. He told them, man, give Pastors United some houses. And we got some houses. And we did them all. But they don't even know what they have when it comes to houses. Because we did all the houses, and then they put us on the do not sell list because the houses wasn't done. So we had to go there and show them all the work that we had done and show them that all the houses was done.
Did you have your alderman behind you?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yes, definitely.
And that makes a big difference.
No, I didn't. Well, actually,
I'm talking about that
actually, my alderman was behind me all the time, a stamper.
Yeah.
All the time. So, I ain't never had a problem with my alderman.
Right, getting stuff.
And, the alderman.
Even with dealing with
district, the city. It was Hamilton back, all the, they supported it. And they were surprised to see how we had got those houses done. But the way we had to do it, because we didn't have a bank, that's what I wanted to get to. Man, we had to go and get the houses and then borrow money to get them done.
Mm.
And we borrowed them from, folks who we knew personally.
Not from banks.
No. So, like a brother, I say, hey man, if you lend me $15,000, man, I'll pay you back 50%, because I knew I was going to sell the house and I was going to have enough money, but we needed to get the house done, blah, blah, blah. And then, so if he gave me $1,000, I had to pay him back $1,500. That's how we was doing it. And it just wasn't conducive to raising money. So I said, wow, this is, as a matter of fact, sometimes, man, we lost money. And then, well, not many times, but man, if you only make like $300 or $400, you might as well say you lost money, right? I made $300.
Well,
yeah, I lost money. But anyway, but my point is,
you're not in the hole,
But
so
my point is,
you didn't have to.
then Mr. Gary, I went to him and I showed him what we was doing, and I showed him how we did all these houses. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna take a chance on you." See, that's relationship, man.
But that's what banking is all about, though, man.
Instead of me paying 50% on a dollar, man, I ended up paying like 5-6%. Man, it was like a coup for me.
Yeah.
And now we got one more house that we, had
with Columbia,
borrowed money from Columbia. It's right over here on Atkinson, right down the street. Very nice house.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we're going.
And we want you to come and get us some more, man. The minute you get
I'm hoping they won't,
Yeah.
I'm hoping they won't put up the old hand, tell me to talk to the hand when I get there. I hope they let me get
they gonna let you get some.
Because I got some things in my view that I really want to get to. And and what we do is we make them very nice too.
I know, I've been in that one right around the corner here.
But see, that's nothing. What we doing is we just want to show people, if you want to do something, you can do it. That's all we wanted to do. Man, you can do this yourself. Man, go get that house, have it gutted out, rehab it, beautify it, live in it. That's what we was trying to show folks. But now, I don't know if you know this, but the state needs like about 35,000 low-income units, man. and 10,000 one-family homes. So now that's where we're tracking right now. We say, okay, how are we going to get this done? So, I was going to the executive director of WIDA, Wisconsin Housing, whatever. I don't know what WIDA stand for, but something like that. Economic development, that kind.
Who was that? The guy over the forget his name.
I ain't gonna even,
You was going there. So what happened?
Anyway, so I couldn't really get a conversation worth having, So, I'm calling the governor. I say, Governor, if it wouldn't be for us in this community, you wouldn't be governor. That's just the truth, man. If it wouldn't be for
I remember that because
Milwaukee,
told to the polls,
it wouldn't be no Governor Evers. I'll tell you that right now. So I
remember that.
So we're gonna say, can we have this conversation? And we got a way to get it done too, man. But we're gonna need the help of an organization like WIDA, for a minimum, just train people how to own houses. Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. People buy houses, they still think they're renting. Yeah. Man, you bought this house. Don't call me. I sold it.
That's your house.
Right.
You own that.
Right.
You got to put the roof on.
Exactly.
Hot water heater go out. You got to replace
all
that.
This stuff happened, man. This is
sink, anything break down. You got to pay for it.
Man, you got to now. Ain't nobody coming to shovel your snow, mow your lawn, fix your
me a bad house.
I'm like, man, and then they be wanting like the details of a situation redone. No, it's called aging.
That's your house.
Yeah, right. That's like my house. I bought a house, man. I'm still fixing on it.
Oh yeah,
and I got to get some new floors in my basement. I got to get some things done to my house that I really, I ain't want to have to do it, but I got to do it because I own that house. But you know what? I could do what needs to be done for my house.
Right.
And for me to live comfortably. And that's what we want to help, people understand when we go for putting this plan together to get this housing situation done in Wisconsin, not just Milwaukee.
So, Louis, we talking about the importance of Black-owned banks in our community.
We talked to Columbia about this too.
Yeah. Now, I got a couple items here I want to for our listeners to understand, probably already know about it, but just rehash it, talk about it again. Why is the significance of having banks in your community, Black-owned banks that really want to relate to the community, relate to the people that's in the community, relate to the values that's in that community. One of the things that's significant is this, and then I want to ask you to respond to it, Pastor, if you don't mind. So economic improvement and community development. Black banks invest deposits back into Black communities. One of the things we talked about last week, we got all this money, almost $1.9 trillion, almost $2 trillion, and then we still broke. We're still a community that's in need. Funding small businesses, home ownership, like the work you're doing, and community projects that foster economic growth. So that's one of the reasons why
I'll say no more.
Yeah.
What they, young guy, say less.
I hear you. Economic improvement and community development.
Yeah,
that's important. I can visualize
relationship.
Yeah,
man, it's hard to have a relationship with people who don't even like you, man. Especially if they don't know why they don't like you, man. That's just ignorant, man. Racism is ignorant. It's stupid. And it's 2025.
Still
it's
there, man,
out.
Embedded.
It really is.
Embedded.
It's so elementary and juvenile. Man, it's hard for me to get upset about it anymore because I've been looking at I feel sorry for you, Doc, because you're stupid. I can't deal with that kind of stuff. That's why we need Black banks. We need a relationship with somebody who will help us get things done, man. But see, on the other hand, we got to get it done if we get the relationship and get the resources. We can't be around here not finishing. I love a finisher, man. You got to finish. You
probably ran into some of that stuff from folks working for you.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, they got on the project, they were supposed to get a roof done or whatever they're going to do on the bathroom or whatever they was doing. And all of a sudden it fizzled out.
Yeah,
And
man.
sometimes the money is out there.
Yeah, you got to try to hire your folks, man, and sometimes
they
it
won't
don't
finish.
work out. But we got very talented people doing this development, this work on rehabbing. We got very talented people, man. We just need to make sure that. See, I always say, man, we got to make sure that we pay them what they're worth. See, because guys will come, Pastor, and they will lowball a project
Because they want to get the job.
because they want to get the job. They don't have enough money to pay the people that's helping them. See, that doesn't work because guess what they got to do? They got to go find something else so they can pay them people. And then your job is on hold. And that's, I'm just saying that to say, man, we got to pay people right. People need to make a living so they can raise their families. And those things happen when they get paid legitimate wages, or you can feel that that process of finishing with the proper amount of cash flow. That's important, and that's where we got to understand each other, man. I'm gonna pay you for what you worth, Doc.
Mhm.
That's what I told you. I told you last week. It was a guy. He came in. He lowballed me like crazy. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I'm gonna tell you something, man. Look, this is what I'm gonna do for you, because you ain't asking for enough. I'm just gonna tell you. You probably already know, but I'm gonna tell you ain't asking for enough. This is what we gonna do." And then that's what we did, and that's how I got that house finished.
Another thing that's important with having a black bank in the community is increased access to capital.
Yeah, that's how I got that house finished. Increased access to capital.
Increased access.
Plus, you got to have some money yourself too, so you got to start somewhere.
A lot of these black folks do have the money, man. I remember I told this before.
You ain't lying about that either.
Yeah, they got the money.
They
really
look
do.
at them accounts, they have hundreds of thousands. They got the money,
man.
A
lot of the churches got the money
in their
too.
savings account, man.
A lot of the churches got the money too, but they
don't want to invest because they don't
got the
trust
money in the wrong place.
Did you hear what I said?
What's that?
They don't want to invest because they don't trust the system.
Yeah.
Man, they'll keep it in their pillowcase. They'll keep it under their bed.
Yeah.
But they got the money.
And that has a historical significance to it too, where a lot of sometimes, especially old school black folks, keep that money around the house, and that money ain't doing nothing but dying. You got to put that money someplace where it can make some money.
Even if you put it in the bank in a savings account, it ain't doing nothing.
You got to be. Then that's
you got $100,000, and all you made on it is $50 at the end of the year.
And that's one of the downsides of black folks relating to money, understanding how money works. You got to put money somewhere where money should be making money. And Colombia is a good place to start. You know what I mean? But then, you can have some of it that, and then go put someplace else where I can make a little bit more. You see? I think the first caller really came. She hit it on the head. What a bank like Colombia Savings and Loan is one of the things that make a bank like that thrive is core investors. Where you have people come in, deposit money.
Exactly. Depositors,
right?
She said.
That's basically.
But I'm gonna tell you something. This is what I noticed, man. There's two things we're afraid of: money and power. No, we're scared of money and we're scared of power.
When you don't understand money, it's
because people have told us both of those things are bad.
When you don't understand money, you talk about it bad. It's a bad thing, and sometimes that's the foolishness of how churches think. Just because you got money, that's ungodly. But that's not ungodly. Matter of fact, when you read the scripture, man, a lot of those leaders, Abraham, that guy was rich. Not only did he have cattle and other things,
how you gonna raise a family?
But he had silver and gold.
I'm just put it the pedal to the metal, man. How you gonna raise a family with no money?
You're not gonna do it. You're not
how
gonna
you
do
gonna have
job.
A wife with no money?
No, you're not gonna do it.
I remember when I was in high school, this guy, he used to walk around and I guess he'd be skipping class all the time. He walk in our room talking about ain't no romance without no finance. I'm like, yeah, you right about that.
you got it.
And then they be talking about, you in love. It ain't about the money. Okay.
Now, now listen, Pastor. Pastor, here's another point why it's important to have a black banker. Listen to what this one say. Say personalized and cultural competent services.
Right.
When you have a bank that don't understand the culture,
right.
I know I was taking some classes over at Holy Redeemer back in the early 2000s when they had compassionate capital, and Holy Redeemer was doing a lot of training. And then if your church was involved in doing things in the community, of course, you would get a grant.
Mm-hmm.
And because the money was out there then, George W. Bush had a lot of money out there then. So this right here, and one of the things that one of the teachers said when he was going to that class, he said one of the most important things that anybody can have is a bank where they have a good relationship. Listen to this, with preferably the president of that bank.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had that when I went to Columbia Savings and Loan with George Gary.
Man, he was cool.
He really was. And then not only that,
he had apathy, man.
Yeah, man. He understood.
He understood
that. And he understood the neighborhood, the community. Matter of fact,
that was big.
You know that Halyard projects over here, right over there, where they got those little houses, that little area over here on 6th and on North 6th Street.
All them nice houses.
Yeah, all them nice houses there back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. He took his vision, the vision he had to get those, George Gary.
Yeah, really?
Really, yeah. All the other banks, when I talked to him in his office, you just go there and talk to him. Before I came on the board, I remember that. I just go there and talk to him.
Now them houses,
I know, man, $400,000 or $500,000.
Yeah, man.
But when they started in the 80s, every bank didn't want to take a chance on building those type of houses in that area.
Right.
And Columbia Savings and Loan was the only one that took that chance. You know what they told him? The other bankers told him, man, I wouldn't do that. Don't man, that's too much of a risk.
See,
But here's the thing about it, like we said last week, black folk got money, man. It's a lot of times the way we think about our money, the way we handle our money. Having a lot of money is bad. It's just not, man. It's not bad.
See, and
your mindset about how you think about your money is very important.
I'm gonna take another approach. A lot of times, it's the way we don't think.
Yeah, and that's basically what.
And we got brain power that we don't use.
Yeah,
people, man. Why you keep letting people telling you dumb?
Yeah,
man. Can't nobody tell me I'm dumb. I know better than that. So I'm not gonna be, adhering to somebody telling me who I am. And that's what we do, man. Keep telling people, man, stop letting people do things to you. Make them do things for you, just like everybody else, man. We go to the city and we ask for $4,000 and don't get it. They go in there, ask for $4 million, get it all. Because we don't have any support behind us. We do have it, because we're 40% of this city. And that is a lot of political power. Exactly. But we won't stick together. And we keep doing things like that don't really support our interests. I'm like, I was looking at this last election, how all these people are sorry about the way they
voted for Trump. Man, might well say, and it's crazy. You should have. I don't know why. Listen,
the dude told you what he was gonna do.
Do you believe it? I mean, really, man. They got, and then
that's how we do, though, man. We don't vote our interests, man.
Values.
We cut our nose off to spite our face. No, man, you got to go ahead, man. You got to get busy. You got to get mean, and you got to get money. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like for the people that had voted for him. He told you what he was going to do. So obviously you believed him because you voted for him. And now that it's happening, it's like, okay, well, I didn't really think he was going to do it.
I didn't expect this. Like that, what's that? EDI? What's
DEI.
That? DEI. Now,
diversity, equity, and inclusion.
But look at the words.
All these white women is losing their jobs, man, and now it's a big deal. I'm like, okay, you know what?
And what he's basically what this guy is saying.
Well, anyway,
so, Pastor, this number 3 is really important.
Go ahead, Doc.
You know what I said? Personalized and cultural competent services. I mean, you understand, you try to, the bank try to understand the people, some of their values and how they act and how they relate that they're serving.
Yeah. when you have a banquet, have some greens, man.
You know what I mean? Have some
Understand what's
empathy,
happening.
some empathy for the folks, man. Shoot.
That's crazy,
Man, I tell you. And it really, otherwise you ain't gonna get the money. You are not gonna get the money. You definitely,
Say, man, this is almost fun, man.
yeah.
How
it
many
is.
times she gonna let you do this, man?
I don't know. We're gonna see.
I kind of like it.
Yeah,
This is fun.
now, this is another one. Listen to this: bridging the racial wealth gap.
Oh,
Having a bank in your community. I mean,
geez.
people understand. You get to understand. Wealth. Having a bunch of money and wealth are two different things. A big difference.
What Claude Anderson said after slavery, the potential power of money was 1/2 of 1% of GNP. And now in 2025, it's still 1/2 of 1%.
Yeah. I mean, look at what we are even in the city. When the Halyards came, when they came here and started Columbus, when the Halyards came here in 1923 to start the bank, they didn't have no black bank. And then he started got one, and then they had three, and then now they back at one.
Halyard was a bad dude.
Oh man, he had some vision.
Man.
Listen, we getting ready to take a break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break. Hey, Milwaukee, I'm back. I'm Pastor Mose, full of St. Timothy Baptist Church. Co-host is Pastor Greg Lewis, President of Pastors United. And I'm sitting in for Core Players, Money Talks. So, Pastor Lewis, we got a few minutes left, so we're just going to look at more of the why it's important for black banks to be in the community. Is number 5 is financial inclusion for the unbanked. People that you're talking about, you're selling a house, and people that usually is new to that, they don't understand how that operates. Right. They don't have the education on, you buy this house, it's yours now.
Just the extensive paperwork.
Yeah. And just understand about owning a house.
Right.
you need to own, you buy it, it's yours. You got to upkeep, roof, all that stuff, know, hot water heater, paying all the bills, water bill, taxes, and all of that.
Insurance,
the financial inclusion for the unbanked. And then a lot of people, too, they might not have an account at a bank. I had a lady at my church, and I had her to go to Columbia Savings and Loan. You know why this is a mother at the church. You know why she was cashing her check at?
At the check
cashing place.
Yeah.
What
they get, like 15%, 20%?
Something like that. But it's too much.
Right.
And really, I remember they had this place out here, right on the corner up here. And I wanted, for some reason, I wanted to change a $100 bill. And I went in there and said, man, can you change it for me? The guy took the $100 bill out of my hand, and he looked at it. And you know what he's going to charge me, man, to cash a $100 bill? He looked at it and said, I'm going to charge you $2. I said, man, you got to be out of here. But that's what she was doing.
Right.
I said, mother, why are you going to the check cashing place to cash your check every month? I said, I'm gonna take you down here to Columbia Savings and Loan and get you an account. And she had that account at Columbia Savings and Loan until the Lord called her home.
Yeah.
And to me that was a great victory.
Yeah, that's great work.
And another one, Pastor, support, which is what you're talking about, support for minority-owned businesses. That's why it's important in the community you have a black bank. More than just one, support for minority-owned businesses, because they might not be able to get it, especially if you're a startup bank. They don't want to take chances on you.
See, and we had communities in the past, one in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. You know about that one,
yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the only time that the U.S. government bombed their own city when people got together. But that time has passed. Let's pull it back together again. Black Wall Street was real. They had a community, banks,
and they had to do that
schools,
right? Because the other community, the other folks didn't want to do anything for the people. Didn't want to lend them money. They didn't want to lend money to buy
hospitals.
Houses. None of that.
I mean, so man, let's get back to reality, man. We got to do things for ourselves. Anyway, go ahead, man.
And then the last one is preservation of black financial institutions.
Yep.
Preservation of black, like I say, you can't really have a community if you don't have the resources that you need. And one of the resources every community needs is access to capital, access to finances, and having a good financial system where your money stay in your community long enough,
right,
to prosper that community.
Right.
We talked about that a little bit the last time I was here, man, where an Asian community where that money turned over, man, many times. And one person said, I don't know how true this is, that one of the books, articles I read, that white folks' money turnover is perpetually turning over, in their communities, because basically, as I was watching, like I said, I'm watching the Rooster Next Generation, and one of the comments that this guy that was a real racist person said, one of the things he kept saying, this is a white man's country.
That's what they believe.
Yeah. And when Halyard and them came, when they came and started that bank, that's what they saw.
But it's your country too.
I know it's my country.
I mean,
I done paid enough taxes.
It's your country.
You know what I mean? This is my country. We done pay all the taxes I've been paying.
Hello.
And I'm working still paying. Don't tell me this
I was
is my
born
country.
here.
I know that's right. Born in Mississippi.
Uh-oh. I don't know if you want to brag about that.
Oh, man. It's nice. We out. This is Pastor Mose, full of St. Timothy Baptist Church. This is Money Talks. I've been sitting in for Attorney Core players. We'll see you next week.